There are some really good home buying opportunities in the Frisco and Prosper markets right now. But if you look in the wrong places, you're either going to miss them completely or you're going to end up overpaying. Now, just a few weeks ago, the market was really starting to heat up. We were starting to see buyers become more active, and on the new construction side, the new home builders were actually starting to pull back on some of their incentives. But lately, with rising mortgage rates, there's a little bit more uncertainty out there right now, and I'm starting to see things shift once again. And whenever that happens, the market doesn't really just slow down. It actually starts, well, to separate. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly where I'm seeing the best opportunities right now and where most buyers are getting it wrong. I'm Andrew with the Andrew Smith team, eXp Realty here in Frisco, Texas. And if you've been thinking about buying and you want help identifying those opportunities, then I invite you to reach out. In the description below, you're going to find a link to my calendar where you can book a free 30-minute consultation with me. Now, as I just mentioned, things are starting to shift just a little bit right now. And here's what I'm actually seeing the market doing. We've got two types of buyers. They're in one of two camps, if you like. Number one, you've got buyers that are taking a step back. They're really unsure about what's going on and they're pausing. They're actually waiting. On the other hand, you've got buyers that are actually moving faster. They're jumping back into the market right now in an effort to lock something down before, well, things get more uncertain and or more expensive. And what that does is it creates less consistency with regards to demand overall. There becomes less predictability from, well, one listing to the next. And you're starting to see this firsthand. You're starting to see some homes get very strong activity and even go under contract quickly, while other homes just seem to be sitting. They're languishing out there much, much longer. And when that happens, not every home is affected in the same way. That's when the market really starts to separate. So what we're seeing right now is that there are actually two different markets occurring at the same time. Now, market number one is what I would call the market that's happening with fully updated move-in ready homes. They need nothing. It's literally get the keys, open the door, put your furniture in. Everything's been redone in the house. You've got new fixtures, the paint's perfect, the carpet's great, the flooring, you name it. It's in perfect condition. Those homes obviously have strong emotional appeal. And in those particular cases, I'm seeing them not only sell quickly, but I'm seeing them sell quickly at a premium. And in many cases, with multiple offers. And buyers of those are actually stretching in order to win. It just goes to show how much those truly turnkey homes are worth in the current market. It really comes down to a matter of home buyers seem to be willing to pay a premium for convenience right now. Now, the second market that I'm seeing are the homes that are not updated. They're a little bit more dated. These homes are typically 10 plus years old. And I'm not saying they're in bad condition. I'm not saying they're not clean, but they don't look like what you see on TV. They're not HGTV ready. They typically have a lot of the original finishes, original cabinets, original paint colors even, original flooring. Again, they just feel a little bit dated. And on those particular homes, what I'm seeing is that they're sitting on the market longer. You're getting fewer showings. They're starting to have to do more price reductions. And that is where there's some really big negotiating opportunities available. That market right there is where the huge opportunity is. And most buyers that I'm working with right now, or most buyers that I'm seeing, they're overlooking that market completely because they don't want to undertake the project themselves. But that is actually where the opportunity lies. And to be honest with you, I'm seeing very similar patterns in the new construction market right now as well. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute. But first, let me give you a real life example of a home I showed just this past week. It's beautiful. It's in an established neighborhood. It had been completely redone. Not new windows, but they were double paned, but everything inside was perfect. Brand new hardwood floors, new paint, new appliances, new cabinets, new bathrooms, you name it, all the way through. And had a pool, and that home was listed for $750,000. So the buyers I showed it to were actually kind of interested in that home. So like I always do, I went ahead and ran the comparables for them to take a look at what other sales had been doing. Here's the interesting thing. The latest comparable sale for a very similar sized home sold for $645,000. This one was listed for $750,000. Granted, the one that sold didn't have a pool, but appraisers seldom give a pool a $100,000 difference. So I called the listing agent to find out what was going on, what their thought process was on the pricing. And he openly admitted that the home was priced high. He openly said they spent a lot of money on the reservation or the renovations, and they're pushing the price point here completely. But here's the thing. Been on the market 3 days, and it already had 4 offers in on it. And the top offer that he had in was submitted with a full appraisal waiver. So those buyers were guaranteeing the price. So that tells you everything right now about what buyers are valuing in the current market. So to be honest, if it's completely turnkey, fully updated, move-in ready, and buyers are competing for those homes, even at prices that don't necessarily line up with what the past sales are saying. So jumping into new construction, we're actually seeing a similar split there as well. And what I mean by that is you've got homes to be built. Now the builders did start to pull back on the number of spec homes they were building. That's where they go and start construction before the home has a contract on it. And then you've got quick move-in homes, those that are done or will be done within 30 days. Now, on those to-be-built homes, there's longer timelines, and the builders are not necessarily under immediate pressure. They're quite often still offering some incentives, but they're fewer, not as many. And you're finding that they're not as willing to negotiate. That market right now is showing some pretty stable pricing. So these aren't really where in new construction you are finding the absolute best deals right now. Quick move-in homes, on the other hand, as I mentioned, those are homes that are done or will be done very soon. Builders don't like carrying inventory. When a home is done, they want it closed and off their books. Time pressure exists on those homes. Quite often we can get way more incentives on those. They're not always published, but we can get more incentives out of the builder. Those could include rate buy downs. I recently locked someone in at a 30-year mortgage at 4.99% fixed. Those are the type of things that can be available on these homes. You can also get closing cost assistance, and in many cases, we are also able to see price reductions being taken on those properties as well. So if you're interested in new construction, that is definitely where the best opportunities for those new construction homes lie right now. If we look at outdated resale homes, as I just mentioned, those are the area where there's some huge opportunities. Buyers are avoiding anything that feels like work. And even cosmetic updates. I mean, literally, I've had buyers not buy a home because of paint, right? So those tend to scare people. There's a lot less competition for those homes, a lot longer days on market, which means there's huge negotiating opportunity. And in many cases, you have to remember the truly remodeled homes, you don't know who did the construction. You don't necessarily know the quality of the renovation that was done. It may look nice, but behind the scenes, it may not be as nice as it seems. And that flipper or that seller built some profit into that. If you're interested or you're willing to take on a little bit of a project yourself, then you can get these homes at an incredible discount compared to what those fully updated properties are. Now you've also got some mispriced homes sitting on the market. So you've got sellers still testing the market. Homes are priced too high initially, and then they sit and they start to become overlooked. So the other place, and this is kind of a bonus place to start looking for these opportunities, is if you find homes that are being ignored, possibly due to days on market or due to the fact that the price doesn't necessarily represent the value, then that could also be an opportunity if the seller truly needs to sell. And that's a key point right there. So what are buyers getting wrong today? Well, to be honest with you, what I see is buyers are waiting for mortgage rates to drop. And that can be a big mistake. If you wait for the rates to drop, then all of the other buyers that have been waiting for rates to drop jump into the market. The inventory starts to go down, negotiating power gets lost. So there's a window of opportunity right here while we're going through what we're going through where you can capture a property at a really good deal. Other times you start to wait for prices to fall, and hasn't happened. It doesn't really look like it's going to happen. I could be wrong. Everyone's got a different opinion, but I'm just telling you, I'm not seeing it, and none of the leading indicators are telling me that pricing here in Frisco is in for any sort of a big correction anytime soon. And then there's also that whole certainty factor. Sometimes buyers just want more certainty, and I'm honestly not sure that there's ever going to be complete certainty. The reality of it is the best opportunities don't show up when everything's clear and there's a clear path ahead. They show up when there's uncertainty, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Now, if you want help identifying where those opportunities lie or where the best opportunities are based on your specific situation, then I invite you to reach out. Again, I have a link in the description below where you can go ahead and schedule that free 30-minute consultation with you or with me. I'm always happy to help. We can talk through your situation, and I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.